Have you ever felt like you've built this entire massive fortress inside your head just to avoid what you're feeling in your heart? It's something so many of us do, and today we're going to take a look at the actual architecture of that emotional avoidance.
You know that moment, right? A wave of sadness or anger hits, and instead of just letting it be there, your brain immediately kicks into overdrive, analyzing where it came from, if it's justified, how to solve it. If this is hitting close to home, then yeah, you're in exactly the right place.
So let's be clear, this isn't just run-of-the-mill overthinking. We're talking about something way more sophisticated. It's a defense mechanism, really. Like this intellectual shield we put up to protect ourselves from how messy and unpredictable our own emotions can be.
And there's actually a name for this. It's called intellectualization. It's that classic move where we retreat from our heart and go straight into our head. We use all this logic and reasoning and analysis to keep those really tough, uncomfortable feelings at arm's length.
And you can really see the two worlds we're trying to navigate here. On one side, you've got analyzing. It feels safe, right? It's all logic, distance, control. But then you have feeling. And that world requires vulnerability, being present, and it's messy. There's no clean formula for it. So is it any wonder we so often default to column A? It just feels safer.
So the big question is, how does this fortress get built in the first place? What are the actual blueprints we're using to put up these walls? Well, we're about to break down the 5 foundational reasons why we analyze when we really need to feel.
And let's start with maybe the most powerful driver of them all, our deep, deep need for control.
Which brings us right to reason number 1.
Look, emotions are just chaotic. They don't play by the rules, and honestly, they can feel totally overwhelming. So what do? We analyze them. We take this big, scary, unpredictable force, and we shrink it down into a neat little problem that our brain can solve. It gives us this sense of safety, even if it's a false one, because at the end of the day, it's just so much easier to manage a thought than it is to sit inside a raw feeling.
Okay, now let's rewind a bit. Because a lot of the time, the original blueprints for this entire structure were handed to us when we were kids.
And reason number 2. This one goes way back for a lot of us. Simply put, you were taught that certain feelings were just bad.
I mean, think about it. If you grew up in a house where getting angry got you in trouble, or crying was always met with "stop being so dramatic," you learn a lesson really fast. Hide the feeling to stay safe and get approval. And when that happens, your brain, your intellect, becomes the only safe place you have to figure out what's going on.
And this next one is kind of the flip side of that same coin. It's reason number 3. Maybe nobody ever gave you the tools in the first place.
So even if feelings weren't punished, maybe no one ever showed you what to do with them, right? If your own parents or caregivers were uncomfortable with their emotions, how could they possibly teach you how to handle yours? Without anyone modeling how to name sadness or process anger constructively, thinking your way through it just becomes the only strategy you've got. Okay, so we've looked at the past. Now let's talk about what happens right here in the present moment. The next 2 reasons are all about the immediate fear that keeps us stuck in our heads.
And reason 4 is a really big one. It's that you're not just afraid of the feeling itself, you're terrified of what it means. Think about it like this. Let's say you feel this deep, gnawing unhappiness about your job. If you let yourself truly feel the depth of that unhappiness, the implication is massive. It might mean you have to quit, change your entire life, and that's terrifying. So it feels so much safer to stay in your head, analyzing the pros and cons of your job, because analyzing doesn't force you to do anything. Feeling it just might.
And that brings us to our final reason, number 5. And this one is primal. It's the simple, gut-level fear that the feeling will just completely overwhelm you.
This is that fear of the emotional floodgates bursting open. It's the belief that if you really let yourself feel the sadness, you'll drown in it. Or if you really let yourself feel the anger, it'll be a fire that burns down everything. In that scenario, all that thinking and analyzing you do, it's a dam. It's your mind desperately trying to hold back what feels like an absolute tidal wave of emotion.
So there you have it. We've just walked through the entire blueprint. We've seen how the need for control, our upbringing, and our fears all play a part. But here's the thing. Knowing all this isn't about judging yourself. It's about awareness.
Every single one of these 5 reasons is like a brick. And over a lifetime, brick by brick, they build this really strong defensive wall that separates the thinking part of you from the feeling part of you.
The whole point of seeing this architecture isn't to get mad at yourself and try to tear it all down at once. No way. It's just to understand how it was built, because that understanding, just seeing the blueprint, is the most important first step. It's the moment you stop being a prisoner inside the fortress and you become the architect who can actually draw up some new plans.
So the question I want to leave you with isn't just about what you've built in the past. It's about what you're going to choose to build now. Now that you can see the blueprint for your own emotional fortress, you have a choice. You can keep adding bricks to the same old walls, or you could start designing something new. Maybe a window, or a door, maybe even a bridge to connect your head and your heart. What you choose to build next, that's all up to you.